Hello and welcome to episode 62 of Detroit Comics Party. Can you believe it's been a whole 62 years since we started? We're here today with our good friend Shanta. Welcome to the show, Shanta.
Hi.
Welcome back for the first time. Shanta is a ceramicist, a casket make. What?
Yes, I make ceramic caskets, contemporary ceramic caskets. Yeah, that's accurate. That's what I do.
That's good. That's cool. That's cool. So,
but as a side hustle, I'm a ceramic artist that makes things like mugs and plates and platters. Also do mixed media sculpture.
What?
Mixed media sculpture.
Oh, I thought you said Expedia Sculpture, like the website where you get tickets on stuff. That's cool. That's cool. So, what do you got with you today? Let's look.
This adorable little monster mug. Can you?
Hi, Monster Mug.
And so this is Wheel Throne, and then I do a lot of illustration. I do a lot of weird monsters and creatures. So this guy has his own like personality, and then I also have this. Am I doing it right? Wait.
Oh, hi.
So I slip
nice to
cast.
meet
Yeah, you gotta shake all of them. There's like 3 hands. Don't be rude.
I'm gonna break it.
It's fine. You'll have to buy it.
Is that your main business model? You just put your very delicate items in super perilous places and wait for people to throw them on the ground.
Yep. That's how I make my living when I'm not making caskets. So this was molded and cast from a vintage doll head, probably cursed. Mm-hmm. And then these are vintage doll arms. So after casting the pieces in ceramic, I cut and form it into this delightful cup that is also cursed.
It's very beautiful. Thanks. So when you're doing these, or at least these ones that have like a kind of a neat shape on it, mm-hmm. Are you like, you take a baby doll head and then you basically like make a mold of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is what I focused on when I was in school was slip casting. So you do a plaster mold. Oh,
I thought it was going to be like slipping the mugs off of the table to make money.
What? No. It's a different kind of mug slipping.
Okay. Sorry. Say your real thing. Sorry.
So you make a plaster mold. This one's like a 3-part mold. So there's one for the back, or 2 for the back, 1 for the front of the face. One side has to be open. So you pour liquid clay slip in. Plaster absorbs the moisture and creates a wall inside the mold. If you were to leave it in there, it would just be a solid head. Mm-hmm. But once it builds up a thickness, you dump out the excess slip and you have a hollow form. And then you kind of have a tight window. You have to wait for it stiff enough to come out of the mold. But once the clay dries too much, you can't work with it. So it's a tight window to have it workable to cut, assemble. And, yeah.
So basically, ceramics is all about being afraid of different muds at different times?
Yes.
That they're going to harden fear. Or explode or something? It seems to me, I know like what you've told me about doing it, so it seems like it's very perilous.
Yeah, like, I'm constantly in a state of fear and anxiety. Right now, I probably have some things at home that are going to be dry, and I'm just going to throw them in the trash while screaming. It's probably your fault. But it's okay. This is a contemporary shame episode. So,
contemporary shame special.
Yeah. So, yeah, constant fear and anxiety. And then it goes in the kiln. Maybe it cracks. Maybe it explodes. Maybe your kiln overheats and everything melts. And then you have glazing. So glaze could
Is
melt.
it an extra fear factor?
Yeah, there's just like layers. It's like a cake with layers of fear.
So the glaze, like, okay, the glaze is like
eating fear cake every day. You can have your cake.
You're really getting people into this art form right now. Like, you should really start doing this, guys. Yeah, so the glaze is like...
Some people like living on the edge.
I'm going to change your lower third to, like, rebel. So the glazes are, like, different types of, like, powdered, like, metals or pigments or something like that, like, I know some of them, like, you put it in and it's one color and then it comes out and it's a totally different color.
Yeah. So, for example, anything that has iron oxide, it's going to look red. But depending on what else is in it. So, it's different, just like different, like, minerals. I guess the easiest way to explain it to people, it's almost like glass. Like, if you thought of, like, powdered glass with other materials, once it goes on, everything fluxes, and then you get that coating.
I'm glad we got to a point where, like, even the paint is scary. Like, just think about powdered glass.
Just think about glass. Oh, yeah, and dry clay, you should not inhale. You can get a lot of respiratory problems.
How do you inhale clay?
Well, like, when it's dry, if you have any, like, dust, like clay dust.
Oh, like on the outside of it or something?
Mm-hmm. That's dangerous.
This is our spooktacularist episode of fear.
Fear factor. The cup edition.
These are some scary ass cups, Shanta. You made scary cups.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So, is there any other art forms that are that scary at every stage?
I don't know.
Like, because, like, you're painting or drawing or whatever, I'm not, like, afraid that the pencil is going to fucking explode in my face or something.
Glass blowing, you can, like, melt your face off.
That's true. Any of the transmuting arts.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's good that one's artistic thing would also have an incredible danger element. Where we kind of dodge a bullet on the comics thing, but you have stories of building the foundry and melting metals in the backyard, and what else? Even saw acquisition. Like, you could easily...
I've been getting a lot of saws and doing some, like, woodworking stuff.
I'm so terrified of table saws.
Me too! Like, the only one time I really used one in the last, like, decade before I just got one is I was at I3 and, like, I was cutting a big piece of, like, laminated particle board, and I had no idea how to use the table saw. So I'm just, like, probably off on the side, pushing it into the blade to pinch it on the blade as much as possible.
I want as much kickback as possible.
And it fucking flew off of the table and hit me in the, like, middle of the chest. Luckily not on the corner, because I'd probably be dead. But, yeah, I don't like them either. And it's loud. I always remember it being the scariest thing of a parent working on in the yard. Like,
well,
just
now they have the saw stop where if it even, like, senses your finger is close, it turns off. And it's really expensive then to, like, replace it.
That's not the one I have.
But it still scares me. I mean,
yeah, it's super.
It's still, like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of momentum there.
It could still, like, barely touch my finger. That's scary.
Yeah.
Even
and
if
it's
it
like,
shuts off.
The way they designed it is, like, the way you must use this dangerous item is to still put your finger right by it.
Yeah, and then they have that graphic of, like, the hand with all the fingers getting cut off. I'm
yeah.
Like,
on the miter saw we were just looking at the Lowe's, it had, like, it has a picture of a hand on either side with just a no symbol around it, which just means, like, both of them are gonna go.
Yep. No more hands. That's what it means.
No more hands for you.
But
they'll be off at a perfect 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
Right.
The drill press is like another one. It's not
Oh,
scary.
yeah.
I've used the drill press a lot, but I remember when I was at CCS, I don't know if it was an urban legend, but you know, the person who gets their hair cut and then they're just like, they called it facial degloving. Which
yes.
just like.
On the drill press?
Yeah, because it just wraps around your scalp, and then your face is off.
Your face is off.
It's like Face Off.
It's like Face Off. Can you get a new face after that?
Maybe if you talk to someone in the fibers department, they can like crochet you.
A fibrous face? My new fibrous
You
face.
like crochet you one.
Really, this
or,
was a
like,
blessing in disguise.
You know you wouldn't be so lucky as to get a crocheted one. You'd
Yeah,
end up with
probably
like
just-
the burlap
yeah.
sack of like a repurposed coffee
Probably.
bag or something.
But it'd have like some embroidery on it, or you know, maybe batik.
What's that?
It's when you like paint wax and then you put the dye on the fabric.
Oh,
and
like
then
handkerchief thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like dyed fabric.
Cool.
With a dyed face.
That's cool.
You know.
I mean, you do illustration too, right? What's your
Yeah.
main outlet for the illustrating? Does it kind of complement the? I mean, you like this is a drawing on here, kind of with the
This
glaze.
is actually it gets fired, like glaze fired. And then this whole face is it's solid decal paper. So I cut everything by hand, soak it in water, and then I assemble the pieces. It's like layering paper, and then it gets fired on.
So
Yeah.
it's almost like
so it's more like
glaze
paper
that
cut
is on
arts.
the paper or something.
Yeah, there's the pigment that's on this paper is a special one that won't fire away. So you cut. So I
cool.
hand cut all the different ones, lay it on the piece, and then that gets fired. So this goes through 3 firings.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's all
Sheesh.
like scissor, like paper cut instead of drawing it out. I used to do these with underglazes and paint them, but now that I'm firing at a hotter temperature, it tends to run a little bit. I don't get crisp lines. With this, I get a really sharp, crisp image.
Yeah,
and I can
it's
do
super
runny
sharp.
glazes. If I want to do runny glazes, since this gets fired on afterwards, it's not going to like give it a melt face. Which could be fun, but
Melt face.
yeah.
So, you go to like a ton of shows and like craft fairs and places like that. Do you have a certain type of show that you like kind of look for that is like a good fit or something?
Well, as far as craft shows, I sometimes if it's a new one, I'll try it out. If it seems like it's a bust, I'm probably not going to do it again the next year. But a lot of times, before I started doing craft shows, I used to shop at them a lot. So there's certain ones where I feel that they curate, good artists. Since my stuff is a little more unique, kind of eccentric, out there, those are then the shows that I try to do. So if it's a show that focuses more on very like traditional craft, on the one hand, my stuff might stand out, but on the other hand, it might be too weird for people.
You're not doing like the Christian pottery show?
No, I don't really fit that genre.
I always thought in my imagination, if you went to the church craft fair or like the super conservative one, and then you were the charismatic wild one, that would be excellent for
I don't know.
sales,
They
but-
probably just think that I was like a Satanist and try to like bless me or something, or I don't know, give me an exorcism. People sometimes like I'll have like Pinterest soccer moms that think this baby head is like the most frightening thing they've seen, which is sad. Just sad. I mean, it's creepy, but come on. Like, that's the edgiest
Easily
thing
frightened.
they've seen. Yeah.
You're like, you should be next to me when I'm making these.
Yeah. Real life is a lot scarier.
That's the lesson from today.
Well, and like this is maybe more my commercial work, more on the retail side, but I also do, like I said, mixed media sculpture. So I've done stuff with like taxidermy. Like I've done sculpture
Yeah.
that is actually very dark in subject matter and material.
For sure.
You might have seen the pig's face
Yeah.
one.
How'd you make that?
It's like the worst thing I've ever made. So my friend who was a butcher, that they like discard the heads because I don't like hunt for whenever I do these projects. So I acquired this pig's head, which I had to skin, which was like so disgusting. At the time, I was like a strict vegan too, so it was just like the worst. So I had to skin it, clean the skin, which was just like rubbery. Like it was like if you feel your cheek, that's what the whole thing felt like. Scrape the fat off of it. So I did that, and then my friend helped me tattoo it. And then I had to teach myself to leather tan it with chemicals and not screw it up because you can like lose the whole thing. So I did that, and then I stretched it, nailed it to some wood, and then hung it on a chain. You know, it was cute.
Christian craft fair, here we come. That's crazy. So even like within that one, you're kind of doing stuff where it's like there's many different schools of like different techniques that you're trying to put together. Like if you just asked somebody who does like tannery or taxidermy or whatever, they couldn't probably tell you exactly what the correct phase in taxidermy is where you should tattoo the skin of the animal.
Right. It was definitely experimental. And because I would have sent it to a tannery, but I was on a deadline for this art show that I was doing. So I thought, you know what, I can teach myself, and I'll go online, and there's things on how to tan, use leather tanning.
Yeah.
But everything was like how to tan deer hide. There's nothing on tanning a pig's face. Thanks, Google.
Now there is.
Yeah.
Did you write like an instructables on how to do it so that all the other people who have been looking forever for how to tattoo their pig's face and nail it to a wall, they could finally do it at home?
I should have. Maybe I'll do that tonight.
You got to give back to the community.
It's true.
That could have been like the
selfish with my secrets.
That could have been the supplementary, like, digital art side of the sculpture piece is the instructable with the intense photography.
How to. No, it'd have to be, like, directions like those, airline, like the airplane brochures.
Yeah, very clean.
Yeah, very clean.
Yeah, I was going to say it should either
kind
be...
of 80s looking.
It should either be those, like, IKEA instructions like that, or it should be, like, it should just be pictures of your face while you're doing it. It's just like...
I kind of like the idea of the IKEA. What would it be called?
Like... It's just the word pig, but with many accents and symbols over the I.
And like several G's.
Yeah. two I's.
It's like PYGGE. Kind of like that.
Perfect. And then like, so you know how on the first page they always have like, here are the tools that are included in the kit, and then here are the tools that you'll need. But like in your book, it's probably like the first 6 pages are all the like fucked up tools you need to like slice this thing up and tattoo the shit out of it.
Like probably a bottle of whiskey to get through it. You will need this.
Oh my God. What was the weird... Did you have to like buy bizarre tools to be able to like do this? Or were you using other people's stuff? Or?
No, for a lot of it, I went to Cabela's, which is this like
tattoo
hunting...
shop?
No, it's like a hunting place. My friend was like, she was doing tattooing, so she helped me with that. She had everything for that. But for like the tanning supplies, and I bought something to like clean the skull and everything, and like the skinning knife, and to buy a Bowie knife.
I like how you can walk into a store and say, I need a skinning knife.
It was so bizarre. And again, at the time, I was a strict vegan. Like, in my head, I was, like, positive that, like, when I walked through the door, this alarm would go off. Like, because there were all these, like, burly, like, hunting people and, you know, just talking about killing stuff and skinning it. And so when I went to ask...
I'm better. I just skin it. I just like the skinning part.
Just the skinning. It's an art project. So, but I didn't want to tell so I went up to one of the associates. I just felt so out of place. I went up to one of the associates to ask for help. And of course he was kind of like, well, what do you need this for? And I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm skinning a pig's face and tattooing it and nailing it to a board for an art project. Like, that would have been too much.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to need a manager.
So I had to just be like, pretend like, oh yeah, I'm just hunting, doing normal hunting things. Can you help me find this knife? I'm going to skin a deer.
Did you get like a hunting costume just to go in the store?
I should have.
Were you wearing all like orange?
I probably should have. It's wild too. It was like an hour away, middle of nowhere. It's in Dundee, Michigan. And in the center, there's this mountain, and it's just all taxidermy. It's like and some of it doesn't make sense. There's like a lion next to like a beaver.
I think I've been there.
We saw something like that not long ago.
Oh yeah, they just installed a very similar type of like hunty fishy store over by the mall.
Oh, it's
right over here.
Trail and
field and
stream,
ground and water.
Yeah.
Store. Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah,
that was definitely. We were definitely not welcome there.
No, definitely not.
Like.
Because we kept finding stuff that we thought was really amusing, but is probably just like a very serious tool for everybody else who comes in there. Like there was this hilarious thing where like it was like a fold out, like was it corrugated like plastic?
Yeah,
corrugated plastic that folded out like this, but basically it was designed to be like a mirror on every side.
Oh, yeah.
So that it would just reflect whatever was around you and
like
you
camouflage.
Could hide inside of it. But I love that thing. Like I wanted to get it.
That'd be great, like to bring into like an urban space, like bring into the city.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I wanted to make our like comics booth out of it. So like you couldn't see us.
That's the thing. I felt like we were 1 second away from...
It's like a really cheap version of, what is that Doug Aiken that they have right now? The mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
Small
cheap-ass like, plastic mirror version of it.
And then just say you did it first.
Yeah. I was just like it if we were the exact same booth as whatever is right across from us. But there's just a little slot in the middle that a book can come out of.
You know, you should do next year for the Detroit Comics Party, instead of having tables for everyone, just
mirrors.
Buy a bunch of them.
Now we're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
Only interested in it if it's way over the top and insane sounding.
That'd be a good sponsor.
Mirrors?
No, whatever the company is, like the Deer Blind.
Oh yeah.
Mirror Deer Blind company. Like it would be nice. It would be as nicely absurd as the very vigorous Monster sponsorship is.
Even if they don't sponsor you, just put it sponsored by Field and Stream.
Yeah.
And then you'll get all these like hunter people to come out. Bridge the two worlds.
I like the idea though of the whatever sponsor it is fully determines what's going to happen during the show that year. Like so far it's just been heart attacks every year. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that situation you're describing is the situation that all art making people go through almost every time they go to a store, where you're asking the people how to do something that they've never wanted to do or like thought anyone else would ever want to do before, you know? Like every time we go to the hardware store, almost it's the same thing. It's like, what do you think would be the best type of metal, like braided wire for hanging like half of a torso above like a reflecting pool? like they're like, I never really thought about it like that.
I just lie. I try to always tell them I'm doing something super normal, very masculine projects. You know, I'm just building a cabinet.
After they show you the tool, you just go like, "Do you have like a pink one or like one for me?"
I need one that's gold and glittery.
It's good. I like to be that person who wants to do
swear to
that
God,
with
though.
the stuff. Like it's the wrong. It's not the intended use, but you're finding something to do with it.
Well, that's why I don't tell them, because they always ask, like, what are you using it for? And then I tell them and they immediately get uncomfortable or don't know how to help me. So it's best to just make up what you need to do to help them find the tool, and then they don't need to be any wiser on like what fucked up thing you're gonna make with it.
I feel like that would be an awesome spreadsheet. Is like it's a huge list and it's just 2 columns and it's like, or no, 3 columns. One column is what you're really trying to do. The next column is what you told the people at the store that you're trying to do so that they would be able to help you. And then the third one is, I thought of it before and now I can't remember it.
This sounds like a meme.
What tool you ended up getting or what thing you ended up actually getting. And maybe that would be some kind of useful information.
You'd have to write. You have to populate the spreadsheet as you go.
Yeah.
We would live the experiences to then pass on to others.
Yeah,
so.
I meant like we could all contribute to this, and it could be like a giant
be a wiki.
database.
It would be
Yeah. Thanks for starting our wiki, Shanta. Oh my God. Sponsored by nobody. We forgot to put tape over it.
Yeah.
We always put tape over the
Pepsi.
brand names.
Right.
It's not Peppis.
I feel like
what?
who drinks like out of a can with 2 hands?
You look like you're so cold. Like you got like
it's like
gloves.
A hot steaming
it's
coffee.
So hot in here. It's the middle of winter. And it's like 100 degrees in here.
This is actually hot cocoa. It's not Pepsi.
Oh,
a nice glistening can of hot cocoa. What are you trying to do?
When you're on the other shot, I could like grab that
Comix
Party bug, and I was like, if you put the can right there, it'll
on top of the graphic.
But it'll be behind the graphic.
Oh, to cover it up. I get it. Okay, I get it.
But whatever. I like the idea of describing if you put the can right there, but I describe it by, say, right here because that's where I grab the bug. And in my imagination, it's totally clear and eloquent, you guys. Like, keep up.
Next time, I'll get a joystick so I can like MIDI control the logo on the screen to like hide whatever we need to hide. Shanta, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really are glad to have you here, and hope you do very well over the holidays.
Thanks.
And thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you next time on Detroit Comics Party.